So not only through the chimney industry, but also locally, we have support and supporters. And the Simple Church here in Shreveport is one of our largest local supporters for the program. And through the church, we've had a lot of volunteers, one of which has his own business that he uses as a tool to help others. And not only that, but he's also a pilot. He has his own plane. So he helped with getting all the materials for the arena. He made sure that we had a semi truck and trailer and came over there with me to pick everything up and to get it delivered. And he asked about the first class. He said, "How did everything go?" I said, "Well, unfortunately, we lost one." He said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, I wasn't thinking clearly, apparently, and I want the best for our veterans. So I put him in first class to fly him over here, not realizing that you get free drinks when you're in first class. And he was probably going to be a little anxious being on a flight surrounded by people in an environment that he couldn't get out of if anything happened. And during his layover, he visited the bar and somebody said something negative about the armed forces, which didn't strike him well. He ended up reacting, and the next thing you know, he got arrested. So he never made it to the program. So Keith looked at me and he said, "Well, that's not acceptable." I'm like, "Well, Keith, what am I going to do?" He said, "Well, I tell you what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do." He said, "The next time we have an at-risk veteran, you let me know and we will personally go fly and pick him up." 3 years later, I get a call from that individual who wasn't doing well at all. He said, "Mr. Russell, I need help." He said, "I'm in the barn right now." He said, "The rope's hanging over the rafter." I said, don't do anything right now." I said, I'm gonna get some people on the phone. We're gonna work this out." He said, "When's your next program?" I said, "Well, it's this weekend, actually." I said, "Would you like to attend?" He said, "I'd love to come." I said, "Let me make a phone call." So I called Keith and I said, "Do you remember the one I lost 3 years ago?" He said, "I do." I said, "We need to go pick him up tomorrow in Alabama." He said, "I'm in." He said, "What time do we need to leave?" So I called the gentleman back and said, "Look, I just spoke to my pilot. We'll be there tomorrow afternoon to pick you up." And he was blown away. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm not the only one that cares about you, son." I said, "There's more people involved in this than just me." I said, "This individual has offered his plane and his services for me to come pick you up and get you down here to get the help that you need." And it was silent. He said, "Thank you." So he came to the program and he went through the program. He was awful quiet in the classroom, as most of them are. And he realized that he had, I tell them all, the only thing that's required from you is that you come and you be 100% vulnerable to me, my staff, and the horses. I promise you, if you do that, you will get the help and the relief that you need. So he came and through the classroom program, he understood what his role was in all this so that he could get the help. Because you can't help somebody that doesn't want to help themselves. And I truly believe that this was his last hope. And he went out there and he bonded with a horse. and he got the relief that he needed. And after the program, he stayed around and we hung out in the arena, visit for a while. And he said, I want you to know something. He said, this program just saved my life. He said, and my marriage. I'm like, I appreciate that. That's why it was set up. I said, if you're the only one in 30 years I help, it's worth every minute of it.